Hello, my wonderful friends. I am here. It's just early afternoon, and I've done all my at-home chores and collected eggs, put them in containers for my neighbors, and then after feeding the chickens, my most pressing job was to check with the post office to let them know that my mailbox is up. And once I knew, and I do know now, I got the okay that it's in the right position, I'm able to commit to more rocks going in, because if it had needed to be moved over a few inches or forward, I could still do it a lot easier than after these big rocks go in. So let's see, there's my load, which I can see its heaviness on the tires actually. So now it's just a matter of getting all these rocks placed in there and not slipping on any of this wire, which eventually will be covered up with dirt. But for now, I just have some, well, they're very big for me anyways to carry, and I only want to be putting them lower than myself rather than carrying them up a hill. There. Just gotta keep them from toppling too far over. There we go. Just want to keep that folded in. There. Oh, but it's definitely a challenge for my body type anyways with these big rocks, and not having them destroy the cage as I threw them in. Whoa. But this is working well. Whoop, don't throw that. I have to talk to myself constantly to remind myself not to take little shortcuts. There. Whoa. And of course, 31 degrees. I would choose today to do this. Whoa, that almost went on my foot. There. This is definitely a good choice of the amount of rocks. I think this will definitely finish it. Pretty sure. There. Whoa. And these rocks, didn't plan it that way. I kind of borrowed Gregory David Roberts' thing he said as part of his book Shantaram, in one of the sections where he's ends up in a slum in Mumbai, and he ends up helping the people out with a fire racing through the slums with the wind. And he said, I didn't go there with any noble intentions of helping them. This situation happened to him, and he, I guess, grew to meet the challenges. It opened him up and probably surprised him as well. So, I mean, this is a smaller task, but in the same sense, I didn't have it planned that I was going to take the rocks from where I did. I got the idea later. But it's an area on one of my lanes that I had a great neighbor, Dougie, who was doing my gravel for the road and stuff, and the ditches. he also took some rocks out of a lane and some stumps. And so it left all these big rocks just sitting there that I kept on saying I want to move and get rid of, just to take the lane to the next level of walkability, so I don't have to step over the rocks that have been pulled out. And I just remembered them. So, you know, the saying goes, kill two birds with one stone. Well, I killed two stones with one phoenix. Actually, many stones. And of course, I didn't really kill the stones, but that's kind of how the saying goes. I just kind of reversed it. I like reversing things. As you know, with NOMAD, it's the reverse of Damon. And it's the symbolism in reversing something in more ways than just the obvious that I think is the ultimate final stage of the leave no stone unturned. Is all these stone metaphors, is the final stone that most people don't think about to leave unturned, is the one outside of the box. And that one is the reverse. And it came to me in a profound moment that was not very pleasant. I was pushed to my limit. And out of that being pushed beyond my limit, I'll call them awakening moments, came to me because I was listening, and my ego was down enough that I did listen, and I wasn't like, oh well, hey, and missed the point. So once I got this message of that things are in some ways the reverse of what they seem, you know, left is right, right is left, like everything. That's how it was coming to me. I was so confused with everything that I thought to be a certain way. Actually, the reverse of what I thought it was, unbeknownst to me. So I decided to, it came to me, Damon Nomad. I knew Damon backwards was Nomad way before, but it was the meaning behind it that came to me. And as soon as it came to me, I was just like, whoa, that is profound. And I want, like, everything here is encoded, and it's my purpose is as I unfold, and even as what seems like the reverse of unfolding, like the crash landing as I call it, even as I crash land, just a term I used, I'll say now crash landing doesn't always get across the point. Crash landing could just mean like, you know, like there's no pilot in the cockpit kind of thing. It's just a full crash. But crash landing means that there's an element of a crash, element of an emergency, but there is a purposeful landing with the restrictions you have. So I feel that crash landings, heart-opened crash landings are, and let me just bring this down, are very, very sacred. And Had watched this with my clients. I always found that clients who had a major, like a death in the family, they were fighting cancer or, you know, heart issues or something that just came out of the blue, and they're like, oh my God, I'm still in shock. Like I had this whatever, and I had a near-death experience, and da-da-da-da, and whoa. And here I am, wanting to get a soul print. Those are the people who are the fullest awake in that moment when they come in to the work I do, the request for the work I do. And this is including people like Anita and Jan, who were this close to what we call physical death. and they came in knowing they wanted to complete a tattoo. And that had me perplexed at one point. And then I had other people as well who were too ill to ever get a tattoo. And based on my previous experiences with giving tattoos, this is two people. One of them was Guy, a very close friend of mine and partner at the time of El Farouk Kaki. Wonderful, wonderful guy who now has a wonderful family, him and his partner, and little boy who does amazing Sufi dervish dancing, the swirling. Oh my gosh. Talk about beauty of, and I'll call it a religion. I've become really much more open-minded to religions because it's not the religion, it's the people and the structure of the religion. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. But anyways, Islam I explored, so did Raven. And we found our niche where we identified, just trying to close this thing here, was actually the gay Muslim movement, where we met with resistance from the more fundamental Muslims. And I had wonderful interfaces, like open-hearted interactions, conversations with Muslims. A lot of cab drivers who saw a show I was in on TV, Skin Deep, 2 episodes, but I was clearly dressed in Muslim garb, the Pakistani pajamas, and the little hat, and I had the beard. And these guys were like, I saw you on TV. Whoa, like I really identify with where you're coming from, the spirituality of the tattoo and the meaning, but yet my belief system says I cannot do this. So I could see, feel their processing, their thinking outside of the box. Didn't mean they got the tattoo. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But I really enjoy feeling like I'm causing people to move beyond the box and open themselves up. So back to El Farouk, who is now an imam, a immigration lawyer, gay imam with a little boy, and wonderful second father. And that was the Islam where I identified the most, because in that form of Islam, they were questioning the dogmatic trail that was left behind. And I find it very important for people in a religion to keep it moving, keep it evolving, or else it petrifies. And I found that all the problems I had with religion were the petrified effects. And I'm finding that I found for the last 4 years the same thing with Christianity. I was so, like many people, really against Christianity, and especially like what you see now, the situation in BC, where they found the burial site of all these little children who had been, we don't even want to think about what their lives were like until they ended. Raven and I have researched this for a long time. We're not afraid to look into things that are difficult to see. I'd rather know than stay blind. So we knew about all this stuff, not that specific school, but generally horrible, way more horrible than what's being released. And of course, generally at the hands of priests and of course of a Christian religion. So that, the Crusades, horrible stuff that the witch burnings, the Catholic Church and the Pope and all the stuff of the priests abusing children, all that just completely took me out of Christianity. The idea of Christian missionaries going to a rainforest somewhere and there'd be a tribe and they would just totally just mess them up with indoctrination stuff, that I do not believe in or agree with on any level. I believe people should come to their own choices on their own. Now, having said all this, I have found Christian groups, Christian movements, whatever, led by people that speak the language I didn't think Christianity would speak. One of the best I listen to quite often is Scott Kesterson, Bards FM, hard to find, but wonderful message he's teaching. and very much a patriot, U.S. patriot. And I don't have to embrace someone's values or belief system to honor it, to appreciate it, to show gratitude for, to even share parallels. Like notice, whoa, that is profoundly how I feel. Oh, and that part's not. Whatever. So I'm really, really working this opening up thing. And I think of someone who opens up a bottle of wine, bottle of red wine, and they let it breathe for a bit. Like there's many metaphors uh, for this kind of thing. And anyways, that's what I'm doing best I can. And one of the biggest opening ups, and I won't go into detail on that because we're all about the Phoenix at the moment, although this all touches on that, is so you have your crash landing, you have the smoke and debris coming from the old broken fuselage of what was your old operating system. And then from that smoke and flames comes the Phoenix, which can only come out, I understand, with open heart receptivity. You've got to identify, appreciate, love, and let go of the old pieces, the old belief systems you have. This is in a nutshell. This is very simplified. And so, in other words, crash land without going, oh, woeful me, is part of it. And showing gratitude all the way through. So I feel that out of all that came the symbolism of the Phoenix, although it can seem like quite a stereotypical thing. I embodied that process and that symbolism to such a degree that I had to express it in some way, and this is how it came out. So the symbols for me are the crash landing, the open heart, of course, always been part of my soul prints. Wait for a sec here. Yeah, so in a sense, I'm taking that which I've learned over 40 years from my clients and my own shared experiences with soul prints, and I finally said to myself, why is it that my life is missing something that of the wisdom of my soul print sessions that I take people through? So I just started as an experiment, applying that to my life in this crash landing process. And it is profound. It doesn't take away the painfulness of the difficult moments, but it shortens them. They don't echo out as far. It's like it stops quicker. And I can almost, well, I can at times go from where I feel like this will not end, at least for a week or two, this mood or this embodiment of the weight of it all. And then, it could be 5 minutes later, it could be an hour, it could be a day, but very quickly I can shift. And quite often that shift is facilitated by nature, something in nature that I get distracted by. As an example, these, I don't even know the name of them, but as a kid, it was a major thing for us kids because I don't know how many of you guys recognize these and how many of you made the little popping sounds. These are all open. They've all opened. But I gotta find one so I can do this for you. Here we go. So these ones are closed. Was one that might be a bit open, but so we used to take them and they'd make this little pop sound if you did them right on your wrist. So it became part of a child's game playing, as long like making chains out of dandelion stalks, and holding a buttercup under your chin to see if you can see the reflection and know if you like butter, that kind of thing. Kids love that kind of stuff. At least kids at my age at the time and from sort of more farming community did. I don't really know about kids now, but because I'm not one. But So anyways, nature can just draw me in and really, in that moment, clear things up. And I purposely keep my heart open, and I'm like, it's a hard one to understand until you start experiencing it, what heart open means. It's definitely thinking outside of the box, but it's not thinking, it's feeling outside of the box, for lack of a better term. It's the heart operates, from my experience, operates more in a feeling sense than a thinking sense, and then the brain, mind, consciousness follows suit if it's working properly and lets the heart lead. But the heart doesn't perceive in time. It's beyond time. It's beyond this dimension we're stuck in, or at least most of us are. And I think many want us held in. It's kind of like a fence. Time limitations, dimension, third dimension, is a fenced in pasture. It limits our perceptions. So many scholars in the past have talked about this. I mean, Goethe is a good example. He says we kind of live dead. Many teachers have spoken of this. You know, it could be a split second, it could be minutes, but we experience, according to them, we experience life enough moments after it happened that in essence we are the living dead. In that way, we are not experiencing in that moment. Now, are Buddhist monks who meditate all the time? I'm gonna guess possibly, or closer to. I don't know. I'm no expert. I'm just sharing what comes to me. So I've been practicing my healing mostly through nature and the trees, plants in general, but trees, just by me opening myself to the trees that I'm living in, which I guess part of it was to choose to move into a place with the trees. And here is my Fibonacci spiraling driveway, and over there is the opening that had to be made for putting in the hydro, which has the smart meter far from the building on purpose. So that will be filled in eventually with trees once things are done in there. But these trees are a heart-brain organism collective of medicine and beyond medicine in the big pharma sense of medicine. But I mean medicine in the ayahuasquero vegetalista with chumera perspective and understanding, which is a living relationship with the spirits of those plants, a communication with them. And that's what I'm entering into, although very surface at this point maybe, but then on other levels maybe deeper than some herbalists who stay on that clinical level. I don't know. I took a week workshop with Stephen Herod Buhner in Nelson once with Raven and a client friend at the time. It was wonderful. And what drew me to Stephen Herod Buhner's perspective and approach to herbalism, as him being a master herbalist, was that he did that more intuitive communication with plants rather than compiling volumes of information. So that's the approach I'm taking. It's what I've learned. And I'm opening myself receptively to the forest for communication, for nurturing, for help, for assistance, for conversation, all of it, for protection even. And just with the small amount that I have practiced in this, which is a couple of months since the beginning of May, I can't even explain it. It is profound. Now one of the things, my challenge is to how to integrate my shift that's happening into sharing that in the form of soul print service that I give once I start again, and to up level my soul print sessions that I give people. Now they're going to be getting their soul prints immersed in the intelligence of the forest. And that's a whole other level that I'll have to get into on a video sometime. But I really believe we have been so programmed, most of us, out of even knowing how to appreciate nature, more so than just going for a quick walk every so often when you get overload. And I'm definitely embarking upon my own version of it, for sure. I'm not saying anyone else needs to do what I do. It could be 50, there's probably as many ways to connect to nature as there are people. And there are probably as many medicines or forms of medicine as there are people. You know, everyone's individual. This concept of a panacea idea of one broad sweep treatment for everyone on anything is bogus as far as I'm concerned, and many scientists, doctors are concerned. We have this need to have this instant pill thing, and I think that's been unintentionally or intentionally programmed into us by those that guide us, lead us, and intimidate us at times, and market to us. So anyways, just so I don't digress, so here is my mailbox, and I was informed by the post office that the mail lady has been through and may have indeed given my first mail. So this is officially July 5th, the first mail ever come in, and this one is doTERRA, which is Raven's essential oils for her healing. And there is an envelope as well. Oh, 2 envelopes. Hydro One, they won't forget us, that's for sure. And Uline, thank you for your Uline order. Oh, that's right, I ordered those. I love seeing it. Damon Nomad. Like there's so much power in that anagram that's already there. I was always Nomad. I was always Damon. I just didn't acknowledge it. I just didn't wake up at that time to it. So now it's time to breathe life into that essence and the thinking outside of the box concept. And I invite everyone through my own actions, so it's not me telling people and then not doing it. It's I'm leading by example, doing my own thing, and hoping some people might get something from that and do their own thing. It can be completely different, but maybe a similar way of getting to that point. So, is there anything else I need to show you? Well, there's my pile of rocks. I think that was I still could put a few more in, I'll see, but that's pretty damn good. I've still got this mesh bit of fencing down here that I don't want to cut off. I'm going to dig out the ground, push that under, and put the ground back on top with some rocks just to give it extra hold. It's weird too because everything to me kind of has a slight off-center look, and it's partly because of the slope of the hill, and also because, well, nothing from nature is exact, and that post has a slight twist in it towards the right, the upper, and I repositioned it as much as I could to straighten it out, but it is nature, and I don't want to destroy nature and its effects, its little abnormalities. So that is by choice, to not overly fix it. The phoenix just looks like the tail is actually not fully centered there, and that makes everything look a bit off. So we'll see. Over time, I'm sure I will tweak things here and there and stuff. But anyways, the traffic is getting hefty duty. So I'm going to end this video now. A lot of people coming by to see the phoenix. I'll let the newspaper know in Bancroft. We'll see if they check it out. But anyways, I'm going to go on to my day. Maybe I'll send another video later. Talk to you soon.